Hi, and thank you for tuning in to the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. We're focusing on the Sermon on the Mount. Now, what is that? That was a sermon that Jesus preached during his teaching ministry when he walked here on earth. Now, yesterday we just started, and I talked about how in Scripture it describes that as he was preaching, his disciples came around him and he began to teach them directly. He began to talk to those that were closest to him, the very first followers of his on earth. Pretty cool. And we get insight into what he thought was the most important things to teach on. Now, this next section that we're going to start today is found in Matthew chapter 5, verse 3, and it's a series of 9 verses that begin with the phrasing, blessed are, and then a description, and the end of each verse starts with, for they. It's almost like a cause and effect. If you're blessed if you are this, because this is what's going to happen in your life. This section is called the Beatitudes, and maybe you're familiar with it. It's awesome truth. Jesus is great. But it also can be a little confusing. And so we're going to take a verse a day over the next couple days and just try to dive in a little deeper and say, what did Jesus mean? What can we learn from the truth that he's sharing? So today I want to read to you Matthew chapter 5, verse 3. It says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. What does that mean? Well, if you tuned in yesterday, I spent just a little bit of time talking about the Scribes and the Pharisees that were living during Jesus' day. These were the religious elite. These were the people that took such enjoyment out of showing others how religious they were. They were the rule followers, the regulations. They crossed every T and dotted every I. And they loved to show it off. It says that they would pray in the squares for everyone to hear, these lofty prayers. And we talked a little bit about that Jesus was flipping the script on them, that he wasn't impressed by that. And he nails it on the head with this verse. You see, they thought that they were rich in spirit. They had given into this lie that they had somehow didn't need Jesus, but they could earn it on their own. It was through all the to-dos that they were checking off. And Jesus said it's not the rich in spirit that are blessed. It's actually the poor in spirit. It's those that recognize that they can't do it on their own. It's those that recognize that they're not good enough. It's those that recognize that they need me. You see, the religious elite, they didn't need Jesus. They were doing just fine on their own. At least that's what they thought. Have you ever found that you've struggled with spiritual pride? Think about it. Have you ever found yourself comparing yourself to other believers and thinking, you know what, I pray more than them. Look how much they're struggling. Or I was at church all summer. I didn't go to the cabin every weekend. Or how about my moral choices are so much better than those around me. Did you hear what she did? Oh my gosh, did you know that they were struggling? And somehow we find pride in the rules that we follow and the boxes that we check. You know what? Jesus is not impressed by that attitude because it goes back to the heart of the issue. You think you're rich in spirit because you're doing it on your own. Jesus said, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Take some time to think about that today and what areas of your heart has pride crept in. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for another Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.